things that may happen in the world, and everything can change overnight, and what are you gonna do, right? So it really hit me, and I was like, if I cannot sell my stuff right now, at least I can. So what happened was that during the pandemic, I couldn't import anymore, right? So I started figuring out like other solutions. And in that time, like, I mean, you certainly know how much people were in need because of the sudden lockdown, and a lot of workers couldn't go back home. People, lost their works overnight. And along with the NGO that we partner with, we started like doing some campaigns to raise some money to, provide some dry ration kits, and things like this. And, people also started like talking more about my account, like, let's help in India, this is happening in India, let's help, and sharing and everything. And eventually one day, one thing happened that was a complete game changer for me. I was already like gaining some followers in a steady way, but it was a little bit slow. And then one day, a girl, she texted me and I guess perhaps 20 other people. And these are all Brazilians who live across the world. They are all from different countries. There is one who lives in Chile, one who lives in US, Canada, Spain, Japan, all over. And she texted all of us on Instagram, and she said, because all of them, most of them, I am an exception, most of them work with tourism. They are Brazilian tour guides in different countries. They live there permanently, and they receive these Brazilian tourists. They have their own travel agencies and stuff. And with the global pandemic, everybody stopped traveling, right? So all of them lost their complete incomes overnight, like everything. The borders were closed, nobody could travel. So this one who lives in Chile, she said, nobody can work right now. All of us just lost everything. Why don't we make a group and we start helping each other somehow, right? And I don't know how, but let's make a group on WhatsApp and figure it out. And then I was like, okay, of course, I would love to join whatever it is. Let's help each other, even if I don't work with tourism. So what happened was that she created this group, which became a group where we will talk about aspects. We will define a topic in common, like, for instance, what are the 5 main touristic points of the city where you live, right? So everybody will make a post talking about the countries where they live. Everybody will share the post at the same time, on the same date at the same time. And then you will tag all of the other girls below your post. So it's like, I have made several posts about this already. So for instance, the first one was an introduction post, like, my name is Leticia, I have been in India since blah, 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 I do blah, 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 and let's meet, how about meeting other Brazilians that also live in different countries? And then we just tagged everyone, like Chile, this person, Spain, this person, US, this person, inviting our followers to go check the other accounts as well. And in the first time that we did this, I had like, all of us gained around 300 followers in a day. It was insane, like you seeing people like following. And that's when we saw that we were onto something. So ever since, we have this group where, like, twice a month, let's say, we combine, we agree to a certain topic, and then we decide that we are gonna write something cool about this topic or make a video or whatever it is, and everybody's gonna post and share everyone else's contents as well. Why? Because by sharing everyone else's content, you are gaining exposure to a much broader audience, right? Like, your name is there in at least 20 different accounts. Of course, nobody's gonna go and check the exact 20 accounts, but some people that resonate more with India are gonna check the post about India. Some people that resonate with Spain will check the post about Spain. And even if we are in lockdown, if we are in a time when we cannot travel. People are still planning their trips, right? They know that one day the pandemic is gonna be over, and meanwhile they cannot travel. They can at least plan better, and they can learn already about those cultures, and they can. There's a mix of things, you know. There's the part where people like to learn so that they can plan better a trip. There's also the part where they feel that they are still traveling somehow by getting to see another culture, even if it's virtually. And there are people who just want to get to know about different cultures, right? So this was a huge thing for us, and it really started to be a really cool thing for all of the girls, because one started referring the other. Like, you know, sometimes someone will come to me who is already my follower. Oh, Leticia, do you have someone who lives in Australia, because I want to go to Australia? Do you have any account from Australia to recommend, because I don't know anyone from there? So I would recommend the person from Australia. And this started happening, creating like a huge circle of people who just support each other online. And that it's wonderful, you know. So because of this, of course, all of the followers that you get are not just from this, because eventually you get different followers that came from this, but people that love your account for a certain reason, because they love Indian culture or whatever it is. And they also reshare your account to their own followers. So I started getting reshares from accounts that some people that reshared my account that are not a part of this group, but that they just liked, you know, what I post. Some of those people, they had like 100,000 followers. So they would like reshare me, and I would get like 500 followers in a day, you know. So my account started growing pretty fast, and I started getting like 2,000 followers in a month, 2,000 followers on the next month. And this kept repeating until the end of the year. And then other groups started happening. I mean, groups that I was not a part of. Other groups also started like calling me to be a part of those groups. And eventually I was a part of like 3 groups at a certain point of time, you know. And it's been a pretty interesting experience. And until today, it's something that I use as a tool for growing my account on Instagram, because a main point that people need in order for their account to grow is for other people to be talking about them, right? That's it's the key of everything. It's the mouth to mouth. It's like one person telling their group of friends that, you know, this girl here, she talks about India, and I really like her content for this and this and this reason. Check her account. And if people go to your account and they like your account, they will follow your account. So it's not just about getting referred by a person, but whenever someone goes in your profile, they need to like whatever they see there, right? So there are several studies. I'm sorry, because I already jumped, I think, ahead of the conversation. But I think it was going to lead to this eventually, right? So eventually, like whenever the person is going to your account, they need to like what they see. So if they go in your account, but your feed on your Instagram is not very appealing, or you don't post stories which are very interesting, or you don't have good IGTV videos, or whatever it is, they're not going to follow, right? They're just going to check and they're, okay, I am not interested, I will not follow back. And so you need to, apart from this strategy where you already built this networking of people that are talking about you and you're talking about them, you also need to make sure that whatever you're sharing in your account is interesting enough that will make people stay. So for instance, whenever there are studies about this, that the first thing people check whenever they see a new profile is the stories. They go to the stories. So if you have someone that is going to promote you on a specific day, you already know that you need to make your stories of the day very compelling. So if on the day I know that people are going to be posting about me, I just post stories like sharing my face and just talking a bunch of nonsense and just, you know, very uninteresting doing things, people are not going to follow me back. But if on the day I post a very interesting content about India, like, oh, let me show today the streets of India, or let me show what it is, a supermarket in India, or let me show what it is, why this and this and this thing happens, then people are going to follow. And the second thing they check is your feed. So they go first in your stories and then they go on your feed. So your feed also needs to be nice. So I make sure that I choose nice photos, that I edited them all using the same filters so that everything looks like it has a unity, and that they would just like it and they would just start following me and they will stay because they like whatever I post next, right? So your content needs to be all interesting all the time. You need to reinvent yourself, you need to be creative, you need to make sure that you always have something very interesting to say. And after I started growing my Instagram account, I was having perhaps a little less than 10,000 followers, maybe 8 or 9,000, which was July of last year. Piyush, my husband, he encouraged me to make a YouTube channel. I was still not comfortable at all with the whole video concept, but he was like, I was making some IGT videos sometimes, and then he started telling me, you're already having so much work in creating content. Why don't you just put it on YouTube? Because at least you can get paid for it, right? And I made my channel and I started posting videos like once a month, or some months I wouldn't even post anything. It was not very consistent. And then eventually hit me that, you know what, YouTube is the only platform that is actually gonna pay me just for creating the content. Because on Instagram, even if you have 100,000 or 1 million followers, you are not gonna get any money out of it unless you go after the money. So you need to be approaching brands,
collaboration.
Yeah, you need to do a lot of brand partnerships. You need to keep going after these deals, right? And on YouTube, it's not like this. If you have the right number of watch hours and the right number of subscribers, YouTube is already paying you just because people are watching your videos, right? Through the ads. I mean, it's not like you're earning in the beginning a huge amount of money. Like, it's not like I am earning all of my revenue from YouTube right now, having 3,700 subscribers, but it is a start. And the other point, which is very important, is that YouTube, if you are consistent enough, if you have people that keep going to your channel, if your channel keeps growing by itself, if people are watching your videos, if your videos are compelling enough that people are watching at least half of each one of your videos, eventually YouTube is gonna take one of your videos and the algorithm is gonna work in your favor, and that video is gonna go viral. And once that video is gonna go viral, your channel is gonna boom overnight. Right? So you need to understand that you need to have the amount of patience and the consistency required that, okay, even if I am posting this video today and it's going to get me only 500 views, 200 views, whatever it is, I need to keep doing this, because slowly and steadily, my channel is going to grow, and eventually it will come a time when it's just going to skyrocket.
So I have a question here. Since we're talking about this, and I believe that there are a lot of people actually who have been thinking, or maybe are still thinking, to create content in the form of podcast, in the form of YouTube channel. Uh, so see, there are a lot of things which usually a lot of creators talk about. They talk about consistency, they talk about talent, they talk about particular skill set to play with certain tools, they talk about a particular niche where people actually create content about one particular genre. So I would like to know that, as per your experience, if you have to guide the upcoming content creator generation, what could be that one thing or two things they can actually focus on?
I would say that there are several things. Let me think about the first one.
Sure.
I would say that one thing that definitely helped my YouTube channel to grow, or is helping my YouTube channel to grow, is that I already have a base on Instagram that is a loyal base and that is a growing base. So on Instagram, it's not just about you having the followers, it's about you having engaged followers. Because if you have like 10,000 followers, but you have like a less than 1% engagement base, it means that nobody's even seeing what you're posting.
Yeah.
Right? So you need to have this base, and you need to know how to send them to your YouTube channel. So the base doesn't need necessarily to be on Instagram. It can be a base that you build through a podcast. It can be built through a Facebook group. It can be built through WhatsApp groups where you are always sharing about that specific topic to people who are interested, and you are making them go on YouTube. I mean, I wouldn't even say that you actually need to have a YouTube channel, but I think the question is specifically to YouTube. So yeah, I mean, if you're talking also about Instagram, I think that the quality in your content is the key to everything, right? If people are interested in what you are talking about, I mean, I never thought that people, I honestly, I genuinely never thought that people would be that interested about what I say about India, that I would be able to make money out of it, right? But I did monetize my YouTube channel back in February. So this was a surprise for me, because when I started doing this in last year during the pandemic, I really didn't know what was gonna come out of it. I just thought that, I cannot rely only on my imports, and I need to start doing something else and to find different ways of making money, right? Or to different ways to work, different ways to keep myself busy in those times when we're so stressed that you cannot really think about much. So I just started sharing things, and it just started happening. And some of these women that I know who are tour guides in different countries, they have been able to make money in different ways, even if they are not receiving tourists. Like one of them that I know, this one from Chile, she has a really entrepreneurial mindset, and she made an ebook about Chile that was amazing. She sold more than 300 ebooks, even in a time when people cannot go to Chile. But she sold 300 ebooks. So there are different ways in which you can make money. And I started opening myself to the fact that I need to learn different things and I need to have different income sources, right? So there's this one that made this ebook. There are some people that sell consultancies about traveling, right? Like if you want to travel to Japan and you want a one-on-one advice about someone who lives there, the person can, you can pay that person by the hour, and they are going to help you, like giving you the personalized advice that you need, that you wouldn't easily find on the internet, right? Or not, but not everybody has the desire to scroll the internet for hours and hours and hours at end just to find out that information. They just prefer to pay someone who's going to tell them what to do, right? So I started opening up to this, and I think that it is still very possible. I mean, I am proof that it's still very possible, even in 2021, when there are so many Instagram accounts, when there are so many YouTube channels, you can still make it happen. But the only thing that you need to know is who is your niche, what is your niche, and who is your audience, right? And I would never think that there was a niche about India, but there is, and the niche is huge. I have a friend that also makes videos about India. Her channel has almost 80,000 subscribers, and she also started her channel last year. So people are interested about this. Yeah. And sometimes we don't really think that people will be interested in the same stuff that we are, but they are. And you just need to find, know where to find them. For instance, what really helped me is that I found other people who also talk about travel. And eventually I started getting people who are interested about, first, travel to India, and second, about Indian culture, right? They started finding me. So I think what makes a difference in all of this is that I am talking about something that I love. I think that this is the main key. You need to love whatever it is that you're talking about, because if you're not interested enough in that topic or in that content, eventually you are gonna run out of ideas. You're not gonna really know what to say next, right? Because people say this a lot, like, how do I keep the ideas flowing all the time? How do I stay creative all the time? How do I have content ideas all the time? But whenever you really like that topic, you realize that, oh my God, there's so much more to say still. Like, for instance, I still, in this, let's say 2 years sharing about Indian culture, I have barely shared about Indian religions. I have barely shared about yoga, about Indian types of Indian dances. There's so much more to say that eventually it's difficult to run out, because you just keep thinking like, oh, I didn't say about this yet, and I think maybe people will be interested about this. So whether you're interested about, let's say, oh, I am interested about sustainability, right? You can make a list about different things regarding sustainability, and it's important that you share this in a way which is very easy for people to understand. You should always keep in mind that most people who are getting in touch with your topic, they don't know what you're talking about. So maybe if I am talking about plastic waste or recycling, and if I am talking to you, who is a person who already knows this, you are already gonna know most of what I am saying. But most people who are new to my content, they don't know, right? So you need to understand that you need to explain it in a very simple way that people are gonna learn, they are gonna understand, and they are gonna stay engaged. So that by the end of your content, whether it's a post on Instagram or whether it's a podcast or whether it's a video on YouTube, people can actually have the feeling that I learned something from this content, and this is why I am gonna stay following whatever this person does, right? So I would say that these type of contents that became very trendy on YouTube a few years ago, where a guy would just play Minecraft and he would just keep posting himself playing Minecraft on YouTube, and somehow people are gonna watch that. I think that this is not a valid solution anymore. I think that people need to think about other things. And I think that sometimes people don't value their own knowledge enough, because I think that everybody has something very interesting to share with the world, and they don't actually think about it so easily because it's a part of their lives, right? So it's a part of their daily lives. So they not necessarily understand that it's not a part of other people's lives, and they will be very interested in what to do, right? Like, for instance, you've been working with sustainability, with trash, with recycling, for composting for years now. So maybe for you, this is a topic that is like, I already know everything there is to know about this, and I don't think anybody is interested about this. But perhaps you can get ideas from very simple conversations with people. Like one day you're having a conversation and someone is like, oh, this banana peels are bothering me so much, and then you tell them like, oh, but you know that from banana peels you can make like something to put on your plants, or you can do this another solution. And then you realize that, oh my god, this is so interesting, maybe other people can also have this, to be interested in this type of knowledge. And then you make a small post like how to compost all of your trash very easily, or how to reuse your eggshells as what's the word in English for this? How to reuse your eggshells as plant food, let's say, and giving people thoughts and solutions which are very easy, that they can very easily implement in their daily lives without a second thought, without thinking that, oh, but this is a lot of hard work, this is nice, but this is not for me. Just go to your kitchen, get your banana and do this other thing, right? And people will be interested about this, and then they will keep coming. So I think it's first important to define what it is that you really love to talk about, right? I will give a very simple example. I am a person who works in fashion. I have always worked in fashion, but I don't like to talk about fashion. So I know that if I made a channel about fashion, it would be a complete flop, because I don't really enjoy talking about it, like it's my work. But nowadays that I am a little older and a little more mature, I realize that it's not necessarily something that I chose as a career because I was passionate about this, right? It's something that I chose for XYZ number of reasons. So I wouldn't necessarily advise people that you should make a YouTube channel about your profession, because your profession doesn't define who you are. Your interests define who you are, right? And you can turn your interests into your profession, into money, which is something that I am doing. So if I made a channel about fashion, I would have like maybe a half dozen of ideas, and I wouldn't be very passionate about pursuing this. I wouldn't be very inspired to make these videos. So I know the quality of the content wouldn't be the best, right? But whenever I talk about different cultures, whenever I talk about India, whenever I talk about expanding your thoughts by thinking outside the box, by going to a country which is completely different than your daily life, this is something that really triggers something in me. And then I already have like a thousand different ideas of stuff that I could share about India, right? Like I can share how to make a dish, I can share how to make chai, I can share what is the difference between Christianism and Hinduism. I can share what are my favorite Bollywood movies. I can share movies that people can watch on Netflix, Indian songs that people can listen to on Spotify. The list is endless. So I would say that if you want to start a channel or a podcast, or if you just want to make money creating content on the internet, it is very important that you like whatever it is that you're talking about. And then the ideas are just going to start flowing, and you are going to feel inspired, and you are going to wake up on the next day. Oh my God, but that post that I made yesterday, I didn't say about that other thing. I can make a new post approaching the second part of the topic, right? And this is the ignition that gives you the light. And the second thing that I think is important is, apart from liking whatever it is that you do, for being consistent, because there are going to be posts that you're going to post and nobody's going to like them, that you're going to put your hours of dedication into making the video or into making the post, and nobody's going to watch. And you need to know that, okay, this is a part of the process. I cannot let this allow me to fail. And one of the main reasons why most people fail on YouTube is because they make one or two videos and then they give up, because they are not like a overnight success or overnight boom. And they see that it is a lot of work, and they just get demotivated, and they just stop doing this. And I think the third point is to understand that the stories that we read on the internet about people who are an overnight success, about someone who made a channel and the channel went viral overnight, and this person now has like thousands, millions of followers or whatever it is, that these small cases that we see on the media, they are an exception. And understanding that they are an exception is the key to understanding that most likely this is not going to be our case. Because in the beginning, and this is something that I learned from my experience being a fashion brand owner, is that I used to read a lot of stories about people being entrepreneurs, and this person launched a brand out of nowhere, and this brand boomed, and nowadays they're already selling in New York and in London and all of the fancy places and whatever it is. And I used to feel very frustrated that, why is this not happening to me? I always thought that I was smart. I always thought that I was capable enough to be this type of person that booms overnight. Am I a failure? Am I doing something wrong? Because this is not my case. Until I learned that most people are not like this. Most people, they actually have to work really hard for years in order to build something successful. And these things that we read in the media, they romanticize this notion of success a lot. They make you believe that it just takes like making one post or just putting your online shop there, and suddenly the whole world is going to know who you are. And it's not like this. It requires a lot of hard work. So people, I think the main key is for people to understand that they need to like what they do, be consistent, and not give up. Just keep doing it. And it doesn't matter if you're good at it or not. Like, I am not a pro in video editing. I edit my videos on my phone. Like, I use my iPhone to edit and post all of my videos.
Yeah.
Because it is by experience and it's by doing it that you are going to learn and you are going to improve more. I see a lot of people that they don't get started because they think they don't have the right camera. They don't have the right microphone, or they don't have the right editing skills. But this doesn't matter. If you like what you're talking about and you are doing this, very consistently, then eventually you are going to learn how to become better, and people are going to follow you throughout this journey. Like most of the channels that we see that about people who have a channel about India, Brazilians who have a channel about India, most of those videos, they are very far from professional. They are not like requiring a huge editing team or a huge software. It's just about people putting themselves out there and saying like, oh, this is my life in India, this is Indian culture, this is this and this is that. And people are going to start watching. And as they watch, you start learning the things that you can improve upon. Like, okay, maybe if I post a video just with me talking straight on the camera, it's a little tiring. So I'm going to put a GIF in the middle. And then in this other part, I'm going to put a clip of a movie to illustrate what I am talking about. And then I'm going to make a joke so people laugh. And I'm going to play a little with zooming in and zooming out of my face so that it keeps people engaged. And you start learning these things with time. So if you have a phone and you have internet, you can just download any editing app, and it's already enough. You can already start posting your videos and keep learning about this. Like reading what is the type of video that people usually watch the most, what is the type of watch time that people should have so that your channel grows, so that you can keep this in mind that okay, my watch time of each one of my videos should be around 50% or more, so that eventually YouTube starts recommending my videos. Oh, okay, today I read an article saying that it's really important that you build a thumbnail of your videos, which is very catchy, so that people will want to click on your video, so that they watch your video. So there are always stuff that you need to understand that, okay, it's a constant learning process. I am never going to be ready enough. I am always going to be learning more about this. And I need to be willing to learn, because if you just start posting thinking that this is the best that you can do and wondering why it's a flop or why nobody's watching, then you are not getting the message, because nobody's perfect and everybody can always do better. I can always do better. I already know what types of videos I want to do in the future. And I already know that right now my editing skills are not up to that. But how can I always be learning and improving little by little so that one day I am going to get there, right? So it's not about posting the perfect video, about having the perfect camera or the perfect mic. It's just about getting started and not dropping it in the middle of the way. Just keep doing it.
Great. Definitely, I believe we all are work in progress. And by saying that, I would say what's more important is that finding what you really love, what you're passionate about, and eventually being consistent in the process. Because there will be ups and downs. There will be videos which will, or the content which will click millions, billions, and there will be times when you will not even get into triple digits. So I believe it's completely normal to have such days, and I believe that everyone has those days. Now, what's more important is that always going to the for the next one, and always enjoying the process, because I believe that this is more about the process, who you're becoming, what kind of I mean knowledge, values, and skill sets you're attaining during the process, and I think you're just good to go with that. With that, I would like to move to the last segment called Spotlight. And since you talked about consistency, my today's recommendation is a book called Atomic Habits. This is a beautiful book written by James Clear, and where he actually talk about uh, how a small improvement which we can make every day can actually change your entire lifestyle. And he really talks about uh, the uh, real problems uh, behind not being consistent, or behind being not punctual, which is the basic essence of having a successful life. And he also talks about scientific formulas, where what are the things you can actually do around in order to become more disciplined, more punctual, more consistent. So I believe that if you really want to create content, it is going to be a really insightful book for you to go through. And with that, I would like to ask you to share your recommendation uh, for our viewers and listeners.
So I would like to recommend a YouTube channel, which is my favorite channel, and he is an Indian YouTuber, and he's very inspiring, which is Dhruv Rathi. I really love his videos because they are not just some random videos that you see on YouTube about memes or about a game or about whatever it is that doesn't really matter. But his channel is about making people learn something new. And this is something that I really love about his content, because he has really good research skills and research skills, which certainly has been polishing as he makes more videos and he learns more about these topics and about researching, right? There's even one video where he mentions the behind the scenes. He shows how he researches and how he keeps the pointers there so that he will like shoot a video and then the pointers are there so that he will remember. And he mentions that sometimes it takes him 4 to 5 hours to shoot one single video, apart from all of the research hours, because he keeps making it until he gets it right. And the amount of clarity that he has on certain topics about Indian politics, about world issues. Like he recently posted a video about the conflict between Israel and Palestine. And it's very interesting. It's very, like I said before, it's very easy to understand. He makes things in a way that even if I am a foreigner who knows nothing about Indian politics, I can still watch a video and get a better understanding about what's happening in the elections in India, or what is happening in the Israel-Palestine conflict in a very easy way. So I really get inspired by his channel. And if anyone is not subscribed yet, you should definitely subscribe to his channel and watch his videos and see in which all interesting ways people can share content on YouTube, you know, and you can see that it's something that he likes to do. It's not like he's necessarily an expert in this. He was an engineering student, but he just liked to share these types of ideas, and eventually people started liking to watch whatever it is that he says. So now he has a podcast, he has a huge channel, he does sponsored videos, he's making a huge amount of money from this, from doing something that he loves and that he eventually polished himself to do it pretty well. And he does mention in one of the videos that he was always good at research. So it was good that he was able to pick this up on himself, that, okay, I am good at research. So this is something that I'm going to use in my favor, right? I am not going to keep trying to do something that I do bad and see if someday I'm going to be good enough in that thing. This is a mistake that I used to make a lot in the beginning, especially on my brand, that, okay, I am not good at certain things, so I need to be an expert at this, but it's not. If you are good at certain thing, you need to be even better at that. And I was always good at storytelling and at creating different content for people. And once I learned this, that, okay, I do this actually much better than, you know, taking care of some other aspect of my business. This is the thing that is making the difference to me, because I realized that, okay, I do this well and I like to do this, so I'm going to focus on this more. And through Vrati, he also understood that, okay, his strength is to do good research and explain this in a very clear way. So I think it can be very insightful for people to realize that, first, there's a huge number of topics that you can approach on YouTube that are very interesting topics that people are actually going to be interested about. And second, what is the thing that you like to do, and what is the thing that you do well? What is your core strength? You know, everybody has a core strength. For some people, it may be to speak more on a podcast. For some people, it may be to make a written text or a written post on Instagram, and then later you can write an ebook and sell people ebooks. Or I know people who are even authors in Brazil that they became popular and they have best-selling books because of their Instagram account, because they share whatever they like to write on Instagram. And eventually people ask, oh my God, write a book, you're really good at this. And people actually launch ebooks and it becomes a success. And that there is no limit to what you can do on the internet. It's like a really huge array of possibilities, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. I definitely, I mean, it's a really wonderful, uh, I would say, the recommendation you shared. And I believe a lot of people can actually understand that it's extremely important to play by your strengths. And I mean, it's like any athlete. A lot of times people are concerned about their area of improvements or weakness, if they call that. But I think it's extremely important is to identify your strengths and master those strengths in a way that there is no one actually out there who could be better than you. With that, I would like to thank you for being on the show. And I believe uh, if I have to summarize the oral conversation, I would like to recommend all all the people who are interested to create content, just to understand it this way, that you just create content once and it lives forever. So it's that easy, because I mean, internet actually provides you that accessibility across the world, gives you that freedom to work in your own style, at your own ease, at your own time zone. And it's extremely important that you do not just feed your own curiosity, but you also feed curiosity of the people. So thank you for being with us, and I'm sure for me it was actually very thrilling and very engaging conversation, and I understood a lot of areas where I mean, I can learn on a lot of grounds, and I'm sure a lot of viewers and listeners will have a lot of takeaways through our conversation as well. So once again, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It was a pleasure to be here today. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and see you soon.
Thank you. With that, I would like to thank all our viewers and listeners for being with us. And I am sure you're taking care, you're taking proper precautions during a time of pandemic. Uh, and with that, I would like to thank you. And I am hopeful that we'll see all of you in our upcoming episodes. With that, I would like to thank Avi Agarwal for taking care of the editing and logistics for the show, for the episode, and I would like to thank Salam for creating the music for the show. So with that, thank you once again, and I'll see you soon.